Good evening. Thank you for attending or viewing this currently being recorded presentation. My name is Guillermo Olivos. I'm the Assistant Director of the Center for Social Value Creation. I concentrate on social enterprise and student programming. And one of the programs that we manage, specifically for part-time MBA students, is the Change the World consulting program, whereby we match teams of 2 to 3 part-time MBA students and executive MBA students with nonprofit organizations across the world to do projects in areas like marketing, strategy, finance, supply chain. We release a portfolio of these opportunities at the beginning of every semester, and I hope to see an application from you in the future. But for now, I'm going to turn the show over to our part-time MBA students who are going to go over some of the work they were able to do this semester. So thank you.
Hello, so our group is for the Institute Self Reliant Agriculture, and we have 3 part-time students who participated. I'm Adrian Lee.
Joanna Hitchner.
Joanna, as well as Amadou.
Amadou, and I'm an executive MBA.
Yes. Let me get started with giving a little brief overview of what we've done this semester. And about the organization in general we work with. Institute for Self Reliant Agriculture. They work with farmers worldwide to help them become self-reliant and help them fight hunger and poverty by making sure that they can feed themselves and farm on their own land to feed themselves rather than just going out to the mass market and sell their food. The vision that we came up with for them is Feed Families for Life. We'll go a little bit into more of the details, but essentially what this organization is doing is helping helping families in these countries feed their family for life. So we figured that was a very easy way to explain what they do.
So part of the problem that we encountered was they didn't know how to tell the story of their organization. So we went down to Ecuador to really find out what the story of the Institute for Self Reliant Agriculture was. And so we're going to explain it to you so you can get more of an idea about what they do. So the start of the program, some cool graphics here. And then, so the second step, our families are interviewed by nutritionists to evaluate living circumstances, health, and daily calorie intake. And then the families visit SRA's demonstration farm, which is a model on the university land that they go to, and they see a multi-crop demonstration farm. Families in developing countries, specifically in the countries that SRA works for, Ecuador, Peru, and Kenya, they have monocrop farms. And so this model, the demonstration farm, has multi-crop farms and also small animals that they can have on these farms. So then step 4 is the families sign an SRA pledge to join the program. They want them committed to the program. And then the families receive seeds and hands-on training from agronomists and agricultural scientists. And one of the spectacular things that we found was the program is 1.5 years. And so they'd have bi-weekly visits by these agronomists and animal scientists to the farm to help them create the model on their farm. Then families attended bi-weekly classes to learn about nutrition and hygiene. And then they start growing alfalfa and making houses for guinea pigs. And after a few months, successful families in the program are given small animals like guinea pigs after they show that they can successfully create the agricultural model on their farms. And after 1.5 years, the families can harvest their seeds and they store them to produce for years later. And then the families after the program are eating healthier, they're happier, and they also take surveys of the families after the program to see what they're eating every day. And so you can see the impact of what they eat before the program, and then 1.5 years after the program ends, what they're eating. So that's the end of the Self Reliant Agriculture program. And so more about what we did.
So we basically went, actually we started discussing with the client, Israel Institute for Self Reliant Agriculture. And what we realized is that the marketing plan that they thought they had was really their business plan. So they didn't really have a real marketing plan. So our idea was to go out there and kind of find out what would be necessary for them to have a marketing plan. And then we also realized that the current president, if you want, of this nonprofit, you know, is spending a lot of time, a lot of energy on the program. He's really getting spent, getting tired, and he's thinking about leaving. So, you know, he's the bigger attraction, if you want, for this organization. And his departure is going to leave a huge gap within the organization that has to be filled. So if they don't address marketing to achieve sustainability, you know, from an economical perspective, they are doomed to fail. So the biggest draw for us was to really create that marketing plan that would allow them to stay in business. So that's the thought.
So we kind of saw this as a three-step process. So the first step was to develop a fundraising report for the client, and to evaluate different areas where where they should be targeting, where they should fundraise. So we looked at the individual donor, and then we also looked at corporate partnerships, etc. And then the third one,
Government grants.
government grants. Thank you. And what we presented that to the client midterm, and then they came back. It was just a lot of research, what those target markets are looking for, what you needed to do, like the steps you needed to get government grant, etc. They came back with the fact that they wanted this marketing plan to center on focusing on individual donors. So the rest of the time of the term we spent focusing on how to market this to individual donors. And the big step, which I'm going to have Joanna and Amadou talk about, was first understanding the organization and understanding what they really are doing on site. One of the locations is Ecuador. And so we wanted to go there and get a personal account of what they're doing and the effect they're having on the family, because that's the most important thing that's what's going to attract the individual donor to participate and get involved in this organization. And they're going to talk about the marketing, the trip, and then after that was developing the marketing report and, of course, the presentation to the client.
So basically, one of the biggest problems was that they somewhat mentioned is that they only had about 3 big donors funding this program. And so they really wanted to reach out to individual small donors, and so we thought, well, we need to know how to tell the story because they were having a hard time explaining the story to us. They're businessmen, they made multi-million-dollar companies, they explained this to us, but like running a nonprofit was very foreign to them. And so we wanted to go down there and figure out the story, and like the chart I explained to you before, like we didn't really understand that before. And so we wanted to go down there, understand it, see how different target markets would view that story, the millennial generation, the baby boomer generation. So I just want to go through a few. So that's the demonstration farm. These are just a few pictures from the trip. And so you'll see it's like a multi-crop farm, and they also do research on the farm, and these are the guinea pigs. And then we went to go visit families who were affected by the farm, by the program. This particular woman had been in the program for like a year and a half. Yeah. So you could see that she was getting a lot of benefits out of it.
And she had one of the largest quantity of guinea pigs because, in the culture, and we're talking about the Andean culture, so from Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, even parts of Colombia, back in the day, historically, the largest source of protein was guinea pigs. There are pets here, but there are foods in other places. I actually tried it and I liked it. What was really fascinating about the program too is we never saw any men because most of the men actually currently work in the cities. So the program is really geared at targeting women. women with young children. So as they go through the program, they hear about nutrition, they hear about hygiene. You know, this is a simple meal where she's actually put on, already able to do all the wheat and everything that she needs to do. And you know, the beauty about this program, like I said, is that they teach women how to become independent. They also teach their children how to be able to grow the crops. You know, and you can see the little boy right here is going to become a great farmer because he would know everything that he needs to know based on the program. And we always had the opportunity to see the quantity of food that they actually collected. So these are all the bags of crops and stuff that they got.
And once they get started with the program, after a year and a half, it becomes a sustainable process where they can store the seeds for every year. And that's one of the guinea pigs. And they fed us everywhere we went.
Everywhere we went.
Nice.
It was beautiful. And the scenery was incredible.
All right, so the next step was creating a marketing plan for individual small donors for them. And we are in the process of doing that. We're going to present it on Wednesday to the client. Lessons learned that we took from business school and applied it to our marketing plan, this market segmentation. We divided the market into different age groups, and then we did 4 Ps, we did SWOT analysis, and we used other tools that we learned through the business program to create a marketing plan. And we also gave them recommendations that we found out, like, that we researched, like creating a bigger donate button on your website, and just like you could learn more about the Twitter account. So we talked to them about simple ways to improve their business, as well as creating more of an overarching marketing plan for small individual donors.
Yeah, and to touch on the 4 Ps real quick, you know, to me the biggest aspect of it was 2 of the Ps, which were the product and the price. In terms of product, we try to let them know as a nonprofit, you're competing with everybody out there, working with families in rural communities. But we told them the product that you have is a demonstration farm. Nobody has it. All the other NGOs in Ecuador were coming to them to learn more about it. And we were like, this is what you have to keep. No matter how many synergies you create with these different organizations, make sure that demonstration farm is your product and it stays part of your fabric. And also the pricing. I mean, when we talked to these guys out there, we realized that, you know, we had a better idea of what the price structure was and how to better sell that that message to the potential donors, because, you know, the website was all over the place. $5 here, $7 there, 15, 17. You didn't understand what the price structure was, but being able to go down there, asking the hard questions to the guys out in the field, we got all the information we needed, and we were able to put that in the report too.
I don't think we essentially mentioned like what the price structure is, but I mean essentially for $1,500 you can feed this family for life. I think that's very simple when you say it like that. Like feed a family for life just for $1 amount instead of saying something like, oh, $50 here, continuous. It's really a one-time commitment that sustains them for life. And so I think that's a big part of what we've been telling them about for the pricing structure.
Yeah.
What makes them unique is it is sustainable.
There you go. So in a nutshell, when we went down to Ecuador, we realized that the folks from SRA, especially the local staff, was doing a tremendous job. I mean, it's a nonprofit like many others with a lot of noble causes, trying to go in there and change people's life. But, it's at 2 levels. In the U.S. is really the brains, the operations, and the guys down there were actually doing the work. The office manager, Raquel, was a wonderful lady. I mean, you can see the work-life balance. She only works till 2 p.m. and she goes home to take care of her kids. She manages the office like a family, and the investment that they actually provide to the families, where if they have a specific need, they actually take money out of their own pockets to provide. I mean, so, you can see that they're really being that, and they walk the walk every day. So for us, it was to go out and take a look at what was really going on in Ecuador, to be able to come back, tell a better story based on the market and the segment that they selected. Also, to kind of come back with strategies for them to understand that if you don't have a set price structure, like Adrian said it so well, If I come to anyone and I say, with $1,500, you change the life of a family forever. We can set a 1-year plan, we can set a 15-month plan if you want to give $100. If you only give $50, this is your contribution. But to be able to tell the same story consistently, and I think that was our message. Be consistent with your story so that everybody, in every media, whether it's Twitter, YouTube, on your Facebook account, wherever it is, it's the same story, it's the same price. Be consistent.
Any
questions?
questions?
Yeah.
So in your marketing plan, how did you guys decide who your target donor audience is going to be? Is it like your individuals? Are they marketing to individuals to kind of show them how individuals can help, fund this program, or is it more towards some of the larger donations that?
Well, we split up the market in 3 different segments: the millennials, the Generation X, and the baby boomers. And we wrote the characteristics of those different target markets. Like, for example, millennial generation is more tech savvy; they're more likely to donate online. Whereas the baby boomer generation is more likely to donate to the mail. So I kind of give them an idea of how to target those specific markets. And then we really wanted to give them the tools to be able to tell the story. And so we wrote their goals and their mission statement. And because the first time that we talked to the director, he spent an hour telling us the mission. And he said it himself. He was like, well, I think I need to fix that. And so we came up with a way to create something very small to tell a story. And because it is a very complicated program, but it can be told in like a one line, just to attract different donors.
Yeah, I mean, to our point, they basically, when we give them the first report showing the different opportunities for funding, they clearly stated to us that 80% of the revenues actually come from individual donors. So we knew what was the targeted market. And for us, it was just not to say, if you're looking at this particular segment of the population, this is what you have to do to diversify.
Are there any opportunities for like government funding or anything like that?
Yes, plenty.
Yes, and that was in our fundraising report.
Yeah.
We put a lot of like where they could find government grants and USAID, Department of Agriculture.
And even in the state of Washington, because they are based out of Washington, so I did the research specifically for the state of Washington. I came with over 75 possible grants that they can apply to. But one of the biggest challenges they have too also is resources. They don't have enough staff. So that's why they want to stick to what they know, and we're just trying to encourage them to look at other opportunities.